Okay, so you want to buy a bucket of movie theater popcorn. Walk up to the concessions stand. Spend $9 on 6 cents worth of dried corn kernels and fake butter. Sit back in a dark room and wonder why on earth you just paid the price of a full sit-down dinner for a bag of hot air. Sounds like a total ripoff, right? I mean, you are paying a 3 to 1,000% markup on a snack that literally costs more per pound than a high-end filet mignon. But here's the strange part. Movie theater popcorn isn't just a high-margin concession item. It is the single sole reason the entire global cinema industry still exists today. Without that yellow bucket of puffed starch, your local movie theater would go bankrupt in less than 30 days. And the wildest part? Movie theaters aren't actually in the business of showing movies at all. They are fast food restaurants using multi-million-dollar Hollywood blockbusters as a loss leader to sell you cheap, hyper-palatable salt and fat. Anyway, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how theaters trick your brain using psychological pricing traps like the decoy effect, how chemical engineering forces you to spend more money at the counter, the terrifying unit economics behind why ticket prices stay low while food prices skyrocket, and why the entire industry is built on a mathematical illusion designed to extract every single dollar from your wallet. To understand how you end up paying $15 for a handful of heated seeds, you have to look at the brutal contract structure of movie distribution. When a massive blockbuster like a superhero movie or a sci-fi epic hits theaters, you might think the local cinema is keeping your $12 ticket price, but look at the fine print. Hollywood studios demand a massive chunk of that revenue, often taking anywhere from 70 to 90% of all ticket sales during a movie's opening weekend. I'll show you how that forced revenue split creates a desperate financial trap in a minute, but first, you have to look at what happens to the remaining money. After the studio takes its massive cut, the theater owner is left with maybe $2 or $3 per ticket. Out of that tiny slice, they have to pay commercial rent on a massive facility, cover astronomical electricity bills to run commercial laser projectors, pay their staff, and maintain complex sound systems. If theaters relied solely on ticket sales, every single movie theater on Earth would burn through its cash reserves and shut down. Enter the popcorn machine. Let's break down the actual unit economics of a large popcorn, because the numbers are almost insulting. When a theater buys raw material in massive commercial bulk, a single portion of raw, non-GMO yellow corn kernels costs roughly 5 to 8 cents. The specialized coconut or canola oil used to pop, it costs about 3 cents. The secret artificial butter-flavored topping, which is actually an oil-based chemical compound called flavacol, costs less than 2 cents per serving. Here's the crazy part. The actual cardboard tub or paper bag that holds the popcorn usually costs the theater around 12 to 15 cents, making the container literally twice as expensive as the food inside it. Add it all up, and the direct cost of goods sold for a large bucket of popcorn comes out to roughly 20 to 25 cents. Yet, at the concession stand counter, that exact same bucket is priced at $8, $9, or even $10. That is a profit margin exceeding 90%, represented by a mind-melting 3 to 1,000% markup over raw production costs. To put that into perspective, if a luxury car manufacturer marked up their vehicles at the exact same rate as movie theater popcorn, a base model sedan would cost over $3 million. Now, you might think, why don't people just buy the small size and save money? And this leads to a multi-billion-dollar secret of consumer psychology that most people miss. The menu is literally engineered to make you feel stupid if you buy the small option. It's called the decoy effect, and it is a masterclass in behavioral economics. Imagine you walk up to the counter and see 2 options: a small popcorn for $6 and a large popcorn for $8. Most rational humans look at $6, think it's reasonable, and buy the small. But now, the theater introduces a third option, the medium popcorn for $7.50. Look at what just happened to your brain. The medium size isn't actually meant to be sold. It exists purely as a decoy to manipulate your perception of value. Suddenly, your brain stops comparing the $8 large popcorn to the cash in your wallet and starts comparing the large popcorn to the $7.50 medium. You think to yourself, well, for just 50 cents more, I get double the popcorn and a free refill. I'd be crazy not to buy the large. You walk away believing you just beat the system and got a great deal, when in reality, the theater successfully manipulated you into spending $8 on a product that cost them $0.25 to make. And it's not just visual anchor pricing, it's full sensory chemical engineering. Have you ever noticed that you can smell movie theater popcorn the second you walk through the front doors, long before you even see the concession stand? That isn't an accident. Theaters intentionally place their popping machines near the main entrance ventilation system, driving artificial butter aroma into the lobby to trigger an involuntary physiological response. They use a hyper-specific yellow salt powder called flavicol, which contains extra fine salt flakes designed to cling to the corn, along with artificial yellow dyes and a synthetic buttery aroma. Flavicol contains no actual dairy, which gives it an almost infinite shelf life, while triggering a high-sodium, high-fat craving in your brain. Here's where the trap closes on you completely. Once you take 3 handfuls of hyper-salted popcorn in a dark room, your body instantly demands liquid to neutralize the sodium overload. And what is sitting right next to the popcorn on the menu board? A large fountain soda priced at $6, which cost the theater roughly 15 cents in syrup, carbonated water, and a paper cup. The popcorn creates the biological necessity for the soda, turning a single customer into a high-margin, $15 concession bundle. So, if the margins are so unbelievably high, and the psychology is so bulletproof, why do some movie theater chains still go bankrupt? Why did titans like Regal parent AMC struggle with massive debt, while smaller independent theaters constantly face liquidation? The answer lies in fixed overhead and attendance volatility. While the margin on an individual bucket of popcorn is 90%, that margin has to carry the massive weight of fixed operational costs. A modern multiplex requires massive real estate footprints in high-rent commercial zones, high-powered HVAC systems to cool giant auditoriums, expensive digital cinema projection leases, and immense labor costs. When movie attendance drops, whether due to the rise of home streaming platforms, delays in Hollywood production schedules, or shifting consumer habits, the math breaks instantly. A concession stand with a 90% margin on popcorn doesn't mean anything if nobody is walking through the front door to buy it. If attendance falls by 30%, the theater still has to pay 100% of its fixed building lease, electricity, and licensing fees. Because the business model relies on converting high foot traffic into high-margin food sales, a drop in attendance strikes at the core of their survival. This creates a terrifying race against time. In the first week of a blockbuster release, when attendance is highest, the studio takes almost all the ticket revenue. As the weeks pass, the revenue split shifts in favor of the theater, sometimes up to 50 or 60% by week 4 or 5. But by week 4, almost everyone has already seen the movie, so attendance crashes. The theater is caught in a perpetual vice. When audiences are huge, they make almost no money on tickets. When ticket splits get favorable, nobody is in the building. To survive, theaters have to become masters of secondary engagement and yield management. This is why you've seen the rapid rise of luxury dine-in theaters, alcohol service, plush leather recliners, and arcade games. By upgrading the physical seats, a theater reduces its total capacity, say, going from 200 seats down to 80, which allows them to charge higher premium ticket prices, while cultivating a wealthier demographic that is statistically far more likely to spend $25 on craft beer, gourmet burgers, and truffle-infused popcorn. At the end of the day, the economics of movie theater popcorn reveal a fascinating truth about modern commerce. You are not paying for puffed corn and artificial butter. You are paying a voluntary cover charge that subsidizes the multi-million-dollar Hollywood film industry. The low ticket price gets you through the door, The decoy pricing manipulates your choices. The salt forces you to buy a soda, and the massive margins keep the lights on in the auditorium. The next time you stand at the concession stand, looking up at an $8 bucket of popcorn and wondering how they get away with it, just remember, you aren't standing in front of a cinema counter. You're stepping into one of the most meticulously engineered, highly profitable behavioral traps.